it was like the Friday before launch, we get a call from the person who's doing our mailer. And they say, you know what, there's been a disaster on the printing floor. Those mailers are not going to get out. And so we were just kind of like, well, we hope that we've done enough through our own Facebook marketing and stuff like that. And Church Candy at that point had started to come alongside of us. And we're like, man, we just pray that's enough. And anyways, that mailer didn't go through, so we ended up getting $14,000 in our bank account. And praise God, because of the work that we had put in prior, and because of what Church Candy had already done, we had 457 show up for our launch Sunday.
Welcome to the Church Candy Podcast, the podcast of sweet ministry success. I'm your host, Brady Sticker, and let's jump in. What's going on, guys? I have an amazing guest with us today. Austin Scott is the pastor of a brand new church that just launched in Lexington, South Carolina. You guys are killing it over there, so I wanted to have you on the Church Candy Podcast and kind of talk through what things worked, what didn't work. And we were just talking before we hit record. And so tell us about Lexington. So it's not Lexington, Kentucky. It's in South Carolina.
No, we're in Lexington, South Carolina. It's just a small town, just right outside of Columbia, South Carolina. Go Cox! So I don't know college football fans out there, but we're right outside of Columbia, South Carolina. Probably about 300,000 to 400,000 there, but really a town of about 22,000. And then the area that we're a part of is really the other side of the tracks. Is called Red Bank, and we have about 10,000 people in our general vicinity.
Yeah. So launched in a town of about 20,000 people.
Right.
So it's definitely like a smaller area, and it's kind of a suburb of Columbia, but Columbia is not even like that big of a city.
Right.
Why Lexington? Like how did you know God was calling you guys there to launch?
Yeah, that's a really long story. Ultimately, God was just dealing with, really, he worked through my spouse's job. We were trying to figure out what she was going to do. And what happened with that is we had looked at cities all over from Florida to Texas, so Jacksonville to Dallas. And we were trying to figure out what she was going to do for a job. And I was like, well, what do you feel like God's leading you to do? And she said, I feel like God's given me this idea for a business and a name for a business. And she said it was called Stork Imaging. And I was like, well, we can't plant a church and start a business at the same time. So anyways, as we're about to commit to go to Savannah, Georgia, that very weekend, she gets a call from a person in Lexington, South Carolina that said, we have this business called Stork Imaging. You came to our mind. Do you want to buy it? The exact same name that God had given her for a business.
Wow.
We didn't even know exists. So then we were like, okay, God, we hear you. You must be calling us to Lexington. So
yeah, no,
it was pretty cool.
Sign than that.
Yeah. It was kind of like written in the clouds for us, which is not everybody's story, but pretty wild. But God had always put it on our hearts so we're from Aiken, South Carolina, like near Augusta, Georgia. And so our hearts were always to stay in South Carolina. So God just kind of honored the desire of our heart. It's pretty awesome.
That's amazing, man. That's so cool. That's so cool. So let's kind of talk through the launch process for you guys. Whenever I talk to church planters, I always tell them, like, at Church Candy, there's 3 things that we can do to help you whenever it comes to church planting. We can help you grow your launch team. We can help you launch big. And then after you launch, you get church again the next Sunday and the Sunday after that. So let's kind of talk through that first part, growing your launch team. What are some things that you guys did to get people on your launch team?
So we started recruiting back in April. And immediately we just started doing, just the classic ARC playbook. We started hosting our interest socials, and we found it incredibly difficult to get people to show up to those interest socials. So I'd say for probably about the first 5, really 6 months, we did one a month, and we'd have probably about, like anywhere from like 5 to 15 people. And whenever ARC is telling you what exactly the play to run, it sounds like it's going to be easy and these people are just going to show up. But we found that that's just not the case. We did everything that we knew how to do as far as like going to Facebook groups, plugging into like Facebook groups that are neighborhoods, which that worked, and just inviting our neighbors and things like that. But we found that it was a very minimal return. And then around, I'm guessing around like December, we ended up getting hooked up with you guys. And this is just like a month before our launch. And we ended up using you guys to invite people or to use Facebook ads. And I think our last party we ended up having around 30 or something like that. So that definitely really helped us as well. But really, it was just a long journey of just plugging away, just doing what we knew to do. And our team grew very slowly from April to about December.
Yeah. What was your team size whenever you guys launched?
We launched with about, I would say, 65 to 80 adults.
Mhm.
I think it might have been like 80 adults.
Yeah, that's solid, man. I know a lot of it. It's funny on my TikTok, people will see clips of these types of interviews, and we talk about like planting a church with 80 people. And if you're in the ARC world, or just if you're really familiar with church planting, like that strategy as far as like launching big and building a team makes sense. Like we're used to hearing that. But people that think of church planting as like, all right, I'm starting in my living room with my family and I'm going to invite my neighbors and hopefully people come. And they think 80 people, that's more than people that we have already come to our church. So
Right.
that's awesome that within a year, less than a year, you guys were able to build a team of 80 people on your launch team going into launch. Now let's kind of talk through launch Sunday. Let's just tell everyone what kind of venue were you guys in and how did launch Sunday go?
So we launched in a local high school, White Knoll High School, and we're in their cafeteria. And yeah, it's the city center. There's things popping up all around it. And ultimately, we just felt like no matter what county you're in, like in South Carolina or all over Lexington County, you could say, hey, White Knoll High School, and everybody knows where it's at. There's no question. So, a city center, everybody's already comfortable going there. They already go there for football games and that kind of stuff, which football is
Yeah.
big where we come from. So, people were just already comfortable going there. So, whenever we put it out there and started marketing, it just seemed like a good fit for us. And how far do you want me to go into like launch Sunday? Like how many people showed up and all that kind of stuff? Or
Yeah, let's talk through it. I know you guys had a hiccup with some mailers and stuff, so let's kind of talk through that. So, for your grand opening for your church, you guys didn't do any traditional like mailers or anything like that, right?
Yeah, so we had it set up to where we would have I think it was like a $14,000 mailer. It was supposed to go to just about every house in Lexington County. We wanted to make sure that everybody knew that we were coming. And the weekend before, it was like the Friday before launch, we get a call from the person who's doing our mailer. And they say, you know what, there's been a disaster on the printing floor. Those mailers are not going to get out. And so we were just kind of like, well, we hope that we've done enough through our own Facebook marketing and stuff like that. And Church Candy at that point had started to come alongside of us, and we're like, man, we just pray that's enough. And anyways, that mailer didn't go through, so we ended up getting $14,000 in our bank account. And praise God, because of the work that we had put in prior, and because of what Church Candy had already done, we had 457 show up for our launch Sunday, which was massive for our area, for sure.
Yeah, especially being in a smaller town of only 20,000 people, having almost
hmm
500 people at lunch. That's awesome, bro. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's pretty crazy because we looked at some of the other cities who like launched with us, and there was one in like Calabasas that had a great launch, 600 people, and Phoenix had like close to five, or I think they had 500. And so here we are, little old Lexington, South Carolina, doing 450. I thought it was just amazing. The turnout that we had was very excited with that.
Yeah, take that, Aaron Lindsay and Josh Whitlow. We're over here in rural South Carolina, and no,
Uh,
I love this.
no, those guys,
I'm
yeah, they're killing it. They're crushing it. And so I'm
yeah,
always looking to those guys and seeing they have amazing ministries. But I was very excited for us, little old Red Bank, South Carolina, part of Lexington, to pull those numbers. I was very excited with that.
no, that's awesome. That's awesome. And two, with that, so if you're listening to this and we're talking about the significance of having those numbers at launch, a grand opening service, that's huge. That's awesome. That's great. Now, keep in mind, each one of those numbers, people will say like, oh, our ARC and the attractional model for church planting, they're just about the numbers. They just care. And it's like, yeah, why wouldn't you be? Like each number, like that's a soul, like that's a person that has a purpose and God made them on purpose. And you look at the New Testament church in Acts, why would it document that there were 3,000 people? In Acts 2, it talks about there were 3,000 people that were added to the kingdom, essentially the very first church service ever held. why would that be significant enough to put in the book of Acts if like that wasn't important? So anyways, I
Yeah,
wanted to
that
put that out
matters.
there because I know like if this goes up on TikTok or whatever, I'm going to get comments saying things like that. So the numbers like that is huge, but man, that's awesome. That's so exciting. You guys had almost 500 people at launch pulling 457. That's amazing. You're a couple of weeks into this now. How have things been going for you guys?
They're going pretty well. I think the statistic is that you maintain about 50% of the people who come on launch Sunday. And I think on week two, we had 330. So I think that's around like 70 to 76%. So we didn't lose the 50% we thought. And now we're in weeks 3 and 4, which they say is where you kind of even out. And we're hanging out around 300. So very, very big deal for where we're at and the city that we're in. And we're just excited and just excited to continue working with Church Candy as they kind of helped us get to this point. And they're going to help us maintain and continue to grow and impact more people because that's really what it's all about.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Well, listen, if there's any pastor or church planter might be listening to this, and maybe they are like on the fence of Church Candy and what it is we do, and like maybe they've talked with me or one of my team members, and they're kind of on the fence. What would you say to someone considering Church Candy?
I would just say for us, Church Candy saved our launch. I mean, we put in a lot of groundwork and stuff before. So, I mean, you obviously can't just skip and just be like, I'm going to go with Church Candy and they're going to do all the work for me. There's definitely a lot of groundwork and relationship building that you have to do. But as far as whenever it comes to marketing, there's nobody better that knows because things on Facebook are always changing. And you guys are keeping up with that and always making adjustments. And so, if you're looking for somebody to help you with your marketing, to do the things that you don't know how to do and to do it the best, then Church Candy is the way to go. And I think the fact that we didn't put out that mailer, and that's something that ARC has done for so long that they say is so important. And I think it is. There's some value to it. But the fact that
Absolutely.
we did what we did without a mailer, and I think it's a big credit to Church Candy. And so I would just encourage everybody to go with Church Candy because the impact it had for us personally from experience.
Yeah, man, I appreciate those kind words. If you're listening to this and you want to learn more, you can go to churchcandy.com, schedule a call with me or one of my team members. We'd be glad to chat through what it would be like working with us. And real quick, I just want to touch on here's the difference between mailers and something like Facebook ads. So a mailer can honestly work great for your church. Like that's why these church planting organizations recommend them and have recommended them for years. The problem is your ROI compared to digital. It's not one or the other. It's how much are you willing to spend with the resources you have. Because the fact that, you guys were about to spend almost 15K on a
Right.
mailer and you didn't even do it and everything turned out fine. I mean, that's a case study in itself that it's not that mailers don't work because obviously they have a track record. It's also the ROI because what I love about the strategy we use with our like Facebook ads and things is we're not just saying, hey, you should come check out Heritage Co. See
Right.
you Sunday. Like we give people a next step to plan a visit. So we're collecting their names and emails and phone numbers. And in Austin, that's what you were kind of saying. Like there is work that you have to do yourself to build those relationships and reach out to people and make those personal connections because how you follow up with those people determines whether or not they're going to show up for your lunch Sunday, determines whether or not they're going to show
Right.
up for a Sunday service or an interest party or to go grab coffee with the pastor, whatever it is you're promoting. And so I did want to throw that out there. And
For sure.
Austin,
Yeah, I think that was
yeah,
amazing. One of the things that I loved was it gave us like their information. I was able to text with them and answer all their questions and kind of calm their nerves before they showed up to this new church. And so that was one of the best things is being able to text with people like time and time again and build those relationships before launch Sunday. It was awesome.
yeah, can't do that with a little postcard.
No,
So,
you can't. It's about
uh,
relationships, man. So that's good.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, Austin, hey, thank you so much for taking the time to hop on here. Everyone, go follow Heritage Co. Church on Instagram. Go check them out. Go if God puts it on your heart, go to their giving page on their website and help pour into their ministry. They're amazing. They're doing great things. I hope to make it out to Lexington, South Carolina one day. and come visit you guys in person.
Come on, man. That'll be great. Appreciate it, Brady.
All right. Well, hey, you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks again, Austin, for sitting down with me. If you are wanting to get more people to your church, we would love to help, whether you're a brand new church plant that hasn't even launched yet, or a church that's been around for 50 years. You can go to churchcandy.com to schedule a call with me and my team, and we can talk about how to get more people into your church. We'd love to help. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day.